Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Angel Road Outdoors, the podcast. This is episode 39, and I am your host, Brett. I am joined in Zoom tonight with my new friend, Hutchy. Andrew Hutchens. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How you doing tonight?
Great. Thanks for doing this on short notice. Like I said the other day, I typed it up and forgot to hit send in my text messages. Sorry about that.
Oh, dude, no worries. I'm the king of doing that. I've been like, well, this guy never even wanted to get back to me. What's going on here? Oh shit, my fault.
So I was at hockey. I was at my son's hockey when we were texting, and I remember having the conversation with you. And then I remember my buddy Jay asking me a question, and I put my phone away in my pocket, and then I never went back to it for the rest of the night. Feel like
That,
that's not good.
yeah, but that's good. I think that is good. You got some self-control to stay off that thing. I wish I had better self-control for
That's a
that.
good point. Thank you for that. I was present after that.
Exactly. You were paying attention.
You
Oh,
know, Hutchy and I've been following along with your Instagram pages, and I found it through sort of the way that everybody else does. I find it through other people that I know, probably generations to hunt. Not 100% sure how, but I've been following along for a while, and I was fortunate enough to be a guest on your recent show with Matt from the Mobile Hunters Dojo and Josh, the Non-Typical, where we talked about the DNR and the NRC rule changes. And then of course I saw you at the Mobile Hunters Expo, and here we are tonight. Like I feel like we're finally syncing up here.
yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, no, that's great. I appreciate that. And yeah, same thing. I've been following you for quite a while, and I just didn't really know who you were. And then I caught you on Matt's podcast, and I was like, all right, I know who this guy is now, and I'm very glad to call you a new friend.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. And why don't you take some time and introduce yourself to the people that maybe have listened to my show for a while, but maybe don't know who you are.
All right, yeah. Hutchy's my name. That's kind of a hyphen of my last name, Andy Hutchens. I have the Deer Camp podcast. Had I've got Hutchy Outdoors too, but that's kind of getting put to the side, and we're going more for the Deer Camp podcast now. But yeah, love the outdoors. Self-employed electrician. Live up in northern Michigan. It's about the gist of what I'm up to.
And I assume you are a family man.
I am. I have my wonderful wife of oh God, don't let hopefully I'm glad she doesn't listen to these, but 11 years, I think, 10 for sure. I think we're on 11. But I do know my kids' birthdays. I have a 8-year-old son and a 5-year-old daughter.
I don't know why you did some sort of a movement where I thought you were going to look at your little cheat sheet for their birthdays. Like I thought you had something in your
Oh,
hand. You were like, and their birthdays are. I don't know why must have moved your arms just a little tiny bit there.
well, it's funny you say that because I've got the tattoo on my inner forearm there with their names, but I probably should have their birthdays put underneath it
That's
so that I
awesome,
don't
man.
forget because that will happen at some point, I'm sure.
Oh, 100%. For me, it's like I have to think of like I remember their birth dates, but I have to think about what that equates to in ages more often than not.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I know their ages, and I've got to do the math to try to figure out what the actual dates were. I know when my son was born because he I shot my biggest deer like a month before he was born, so I'll never forget that. He was born in 15.
That's awesome. Nice little a memory marker there for you.
That's
Listen,
right.
I have I figured since we only sort of know each other a little bit, I thought maybe I would start tonight with an icebreaker question. Something to just maybe cleanse the palate, get the juices flowing. I know you said you had a busy day, and we are going to get into that. Just a palate cleanser, sort of break the ice, sort of like really just get everything out in the open. So let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Tell me how you feel about Kamala Harris.
No comment.
Oh, I'm supposed to get the juices
Uh
flowing.
let's see Kamala
No,
Harris.
you do not have to. You do not have to.
Oh no, I'm like I told you, I'm an open book. I'm scared to death that she's going to be our next president.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm literally scared to death, and I feel that if she becomes our next president, we are going to see the civil war.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
It's Biden was one thing, but this is this is a whole nother level. I mean, look at the stock market today. It's
Yeah.
just I mean, shit, Iran and what Israel are damn near ready to nuke each other, and we're uh we're going down a bad road here. So yeah, great icebreaker. I like it.
I just want you to know that nothing is off limits here. I will follow your lead and we will only talk about things that you're comfortable with. And I knew that would make you sort of laugh a little bit. So
Dude, that was great. I loved it. There's like I said, there's nothing I won't talk about. I'm not afraid. I'm an open book. I'm not afraid to test the boundaries here. So let's
good.
go.
Well, you also host a podcast. And
Yes.
since I don't know you very well, I thought it would be interesting to hear from your perspective, how that started, because, this becoming a podcast host requires a little bit of technical savvy. It requires a little bit of enthusiasm. It requires, there is a skill to hosting. Um, why podcasts? Like, why did you get into podcasts?
Well, I mean, I've been listening to them forever, as we all have, and I love talking deer hunting, and I was just kind of dabbling around trying to figure out, hey, do I want to do this? Do I want to do this? I love talking about it. Let's give it a go. And I shouldn't have never recorded the first episode because I was hooked immediately. Um, yeah, I mean, that's really about the gist of it. I don't know, like, I mean, it wasn't like some big thought out thing. It kind of just like happened. And I've got a couple good friends that are podcasters, and just being around them and seeing how they did it and everything, I was like, this is something I'm kind of interested in. And Jared Van Hees from the Habitat podcast has been like basically my mentor on all this. He has helped me in and out. I help him co-host every now and then, and great dude.
Well, I mean, you could just reach out to people and talk to them. Like, what made you want to record it though? That's what I'm most
Oh,
curious about. Like, what gives somebody the bug to want to record and produce and put out content? Like, what was the tipping point for you? Was there something you felt you were missing in your life? Like, I'm just trying to psychoanalyze why one becomes a podcaster.
yeah. I think I wanted other people to hear it. I wanted to hear, these conversations. I wanted other people to hear them, and I wanted to be able to go back and listen to them. I don't know if you like, I mean, I'm still young enough in it that I listen to all my own episodes every time just to make sure, everything's going well,
Mm-hmm.
you
So
know.
I had a podcast for a long time ago, and I will go back and listen to that show and those episodes now, but I do not listen to these podcasts. It's just not something I do. Once I record them and once I edit them and put them out, that to me is good. But I do like to go back and listen to things that I did back in like 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, some dumb stuff that my brother and I did back then, because it brings it almost is like you said, you want to go back and relive that memory. I like to go back and relive those memories because we do talk about things that we were doing back then that I maybe forgot about. So I love that idea. And plus with the Deer Camp, podcast persona or, name, it does imply that sitting around the campfire, shooting the shit, ribbing each other, because that's something that I miss about the deer camp situation.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I grew up going to a deer camp, like starting when I was, just a little kid all the way, through my 20s. And I missed that, bullshitting. It doesn't, you might not even be talking about hunting at the card table, you might be
Mm-hmm.
talking about something else. But it was that camaraderie of talking to other guys, feeling it out, having a good old boy bonding experience. And I figured with the deer camp, persona, that's what we're gonna be. I'm not busting down your door trying to tell you that this is how you gotta hunt, or this is where you gotta go, or this. You're never gonna get any technical out of this podcast. You're just gonna get some bullshitting.
So, when did you start going, and when did that stop for you going to the deer camp? You made it sound like you were pretty young.
Oh, I was really young. So it was my dad went to this. It wasn't like a you didn't stay there. It was like a social club kind of.
Hmm.
You would go there, you would hunt, and you'd go there after dinner, hang out, play cards. They had the beer taps going,
Mm-hmm.
all that good. So obviously, I wasn't having that when I was a little kid, but we it was back, back in I'm gonna date the hell out of myself here, 80 late 80s, early 90s, when Michigan had the huge tradition of um deer drives. Well, we'd be called dogs, and because we were the pushers that would, crawl through the swamp and all that. And I would look forward to that all fall until
Oh
it was
yeah.
time to go. And so that just kind of brought me back. And I moved not out of the area, but I moved uh probably 45 minutes south when I got older, and it just got to be a point, it was just I couldn't do it anymore. I would work, by the time I got done hunting and then would drive all the way up there, shit, everyone was done eating, and it was, so I kind of just stopped going. But it's one of those things that I wish I still did. So I want to bring that whole deer camp aspect back. Deer camp has kind of fallen apart or fallen a wayside in the years of kind of social media. Everyone's kind of, they don't get together like they used to. And my goal is to bring the deer camps back.
Do you have the people in your life? Do you feel like you are all, or let me start over. The people that in your life that you would invite to your deer camp, do you feel like you guys are all at a very similar spot in life, or no?
No, I would say everyone's kind of in different spots.
Same with
Um,
me, and I think that has a lot to do with it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think the fact that, the fact that not everybody's on the same page brings more to the table than everybody being on the same page.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You know,
it just makes it exponentially more difficult to get together. I
yes,
have a feeling, and I'm just gonna go on a limb and say that back in the day, a lot of the guys probably all got married and had kids roughly within the same few years of each other. And then maybe they had some kids or another marriage later on in life, but ultimately they were still relatively closer in life cycles. Whereas I have a 13-year-old daughter, but one of my best friends just had a baby with his wife like 2 months ago. So he has got three kids under 3 or 4. So like that's a huge difference in his freedom and my freedom. They're very different, drastically different.
absolutely. I mean, I'm in the same kind of boat. I'm in my low mid 40s, and I've got a 5-year old. I mean,
I do too.
I'm still in that same. I'm starting to get a little more freedom, which is very nice.
Yeah.
But exactly, I know what you're saying. That I had, but my friends, all my friends, their kids are graduating high school now. Kids or friends that I grew up with.
Oh,
So it's kind of that whole life
okay.
cycle now. They're going back to being, but empty nesters, and
Mm-hmm.
I still got a nest full of rugrats. I call it more of a pig pen, I guess, not a
Yeah.
nest.
Same. Um, man, I had something that I was gonna say, and damn it, I can't remember. Oh, do as a kid growing up around a bunch of guys substantially older than you, do you have like a favorite memory from that quote unquote social club from when you were young? Is there like a single memory that sticks out to you the most?
Dude, there is, and I'm gonna talk about it right now. It's one of my favorite memories. So my parents divorced when I was, I think, 12, something like that. I couldn't rifle hunt yet. I wasn't 14. I couldn't rifle hunt in Michigan. And my dad had moved away, and it was just me and my mom and my brother. But mom would take me to deer camp and drop me off. Well, I turned 14. It was my first year to be able to hunt. And Eric Hallett, bless his soul, he's one of the owners of deer camp. He took me in, had me stay at his house, and he took me out opening morning for my first hunt. Something he didn't have to do. He doesn't have kids. Something
Mm-hmm.
he did not have to do. And he's become, since then, we worked together for 15 years or so, and we've become really good friends since then. But yeah, I mean, that is my all-time favorite thing. And that's something I want to do. I want to be that guy for somebody. I want to be that, hey, you can't do it, so let me help you do it.
Mm-hmm. That is definitely something that's missing today. And there's the me culture, and there's a lot of young hunters that are growing up in that me, and I think we all, and if we're all a little bit honest with ourselves, I think we all have a moment in the season where you are completely in, you know, entrenched in your attempt to go shoot that deer that you've been after all season. But giving up a hunt or two hunts to get some young person excited about your favorite pastime, obviously, I mean, look, it's stuck with you for such a long time. I think it's really important for us to make sure that we take time for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, and I wasn't always that way. I'm not gonna, I mean, if you'd have talked to me 4 or 5 years ago, I was, a very selfish hunter. I was a very, trying to put that next buck on the wall, trying, getting mad, wouldn't, telling the family they can't use the property, we got to stay off the property. We can, everything like that, keep trying to keep people away, not letting anybody hunt. Now, I mean, we're hosting a veteran deer hunt here this year. And I'm
That's
I'm
awesome.
more excited. I'm more excited for that than I am for my own hunting season right now.
Is that something that
I
you're putting together?
Yeah, with outdoor driven.
Okay.
I don't know if you've Andrew Comos there. He's got the outdoor driven, and I've been working with him quite a bit. So yeah, he's
Okay.
bringing a couple veterans up here. We're gonna stay at my house. So I'm building a deer camp. I don't know if you knew that or not. I've
I
got
do
one of the
believe
old.
I have heard that. Yes.
It got put on hold. We had some title issues to figure out
Hmm.
before we stuck a bunch of money in it. So that's going to be next year. But so this year we're going to have it at my house. I'm going to ship my family off to a nice hotel to go stay for the weekend, and we're doing deer camp at my house with a couple veterans and Andrew and Shane Browning. So it's going to be. I'm excited. I'm super excited.
Hell yeah. Talk a little bit about the property that you speak of.
So we have 50 acres. My family does. It's a family property in northern Michigan. Um, that so we used to have a fresh market vegetable farm here, along with a bakery and everything. That has since, gone by the wayside. But I've been turning this place into basically a, a deer farm. Without fencing it and all that. We're just, making the best habitat we can have for these deer.
Hmm.
So I've been doing that. Things are starting to come along, and I'm ready to share it with people.
Awesome. And that's been in your family for a long time, I take it.
Yeah, it was my stepdad's farm. My mom and him married back in the late 90s. And so I've lived here since 99. Yeah, 99. And I haven't left.
And back then, was there a lot of hunting that took place on the farm, even when it was an active, like, fresh market farm with a bakery?
Oh yeah, I didn't. So it was funny you say that. I didn't hunt here. I hunted up north, up by where our deer camp was.
Mm.
Because my stepdad let anybody. I mean, it was, we're surrounded by cherry farms. Well, I can't tell you how many times I'd be driving down to come hunt, and I'd watch an Orange Army be walking across the field, and it's like, well, that's pointless. So I didn't really hunt here until after he passed away, and then I kind of started doing a little bit more and more, and um, but yeah, that's uh that's kind of how that ended up.
So you said you're surrounded by cherry farms, huh?
Yes. Yep.
No vineyards over there?
Oh well, yeah. More and more vineyards all the time. Yes.
Yeah. Because I got a buddy that lives up there, and he gets I'm pretty sure he has permission to hunt a vineyard, but I think it's
Okay.
along with like 10 other dudes. So
Yeah.
kind of stressful.
Yeah. That is the one thing. Farmers are not afraid. You can. I mean, especially around here, pretty much they'll let you go hunting because they want every deer gone. I
Yeah,
mean,
they're
I
just
was that way when.
hammering those. Yeah,
Yes.
that's funny.
Absolutely.
So, but back to the podcast. I just saw that you refreshed your logo, for lack of a better term. What made you do that?
Well, I didn't. So when I first started, I wasn't. I'd started it out as Hutchy's Deer Camp podcast, and I wanted to kind of make it its kind of its own entity. So I transformed it to the Deer Camp podcast, took Hutchy out of it, took Hutchy Outdoors away from it, and went that way. So I've been kind of just running with my logo, one of the logos I had for Hutchy Outdoors, and I'm like, I need something that says Deer Camp. And a good friend of mine who also produces my podcast for me, Lucas, um, took it upon himself to make me a new logo, and I mean he killed it as far as I'm concerned. He
Yeah,
knocked it
that's
out of the park.
awesome.
I love it. I was like, I mean, I think he made 3 revisions. That was it. It wasn't any. It wasn't like this long drawn out process. I was like, yep, you nailed it. Let's do it. So that's why I did that. I wanted it to have its own entity to it, basically.
And does that mean that are you saying that you're maybe going to focus more on that instead of sort of the more broader umbrella type aspect of what you were doing?
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of keep Hutchy outdoors for like family stuff, and
Okay.
we do a lot of fishing, so kind of put the fishing stuff on there and
Hmm.
keep the deer camp for deer hunting, basically.
And you just went fishing yesterday, didn't you?
I did, and I got skunked.
Did you really?
I did, dude. I
Oh,
got skunked. Well, it's my own fault. I had a hell of a tangle, and I didn't. Of course, I had my daughter out with me, who's 5, and my wife, and so I just kept trolling and didn't even
oh,
realize what had happened. So basically, I washed a lot of lures yesterday.
oh, man, that's a bummer. Sorry to hear that.
Oh, all good. It was good. It was the first time. It was the first time out this year, actually. So I wanted to get the kinks marked out. So I did get the kinks worked out. So
Good.
good time.
So do you spend a lot of time fishing up there?
I do. I actually spent. I used to. We used to go to Au Gray down in Saginaw Bay.
Yeah.
We used to keep our camper down there. My father-in-law has, or my in-laws have their camper down there, and so we would travel every weekend down there and go walleye fishing. So I did that for the last 8 years, and finally this year we were like, we need to stay home. We live in paradise, and we're running away from this place every weekend. So, and I'll tell you what, I don't regret it at all, man. I have enjoyed being at home immensely this year.
Good. That's huge, man. And then with kids, like everything's so much more difficult when you're trying to go and do this and do that and go like it's just so much nicer to stay at home. So that's funny you say that though, because when I was little, we would also go to Au Gray to walleye fish with my dad.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So you know the area well.
I don't remember it that well, but
Okay.
I remember fishing a lot. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, a lot
Yeah.
of fishing.
It was great, man. I love those memories, and I wish he still had that boat. I would totally buy it from him. Um,
Gal.
yeah, man. So is it tough for you to think about fishing right now, considering how close we are to deer season?
No.
No?
August is salmon season for me.
Interesting.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm still thinking of deer hunting. I'm still doing deer hunting
Sure.
stuff, but I'm yes, August is my last hurrah. I just made a post about it, this is what comes before the fall. And
Hmm.
I'm gonna enjoy the end of summer. I love this time of year. We're gonna get some fish in the freezer, and then it's go time come September. I don't have a whole lot of prep I have to do, because what I do hunt on public is I just go in. I don't do a ton of scouting. I'll go in and I'll
Hmm.
scout, I'll scout sit basically. I'll go in, check an area out, give it a sit, see what I see, and then
Hmm.
from there. But yeah, so there's not a lot of prep I got to do, I guess. But yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm still thinking about deer hunting while I'm sitting out on the boat.
Sure. And I know you run cameras, and because we talked about this a little bit at the expo, are you looking forward to getting those out, or did you get them out already?
No, I've got two that I never brought in, and I got a couple soakers out on some that I need to go actually get. But yeah, um, yes, I need to get those out. It's one of those things. I need to get the rest of my food plots in. You're just making me think of all the shit I got to do. Now I'm
Sorry
not
about
going to go
that.
fishing. All good, all good.
So
But
do you love doing food plots, man?
I do, man. I've become a habitat junkie, like an absolute
I
habitat
noticed. That's
junkie.
awesome.
I mean, it's the fact that I'm sitting here right now. I'm on my back porch looking basically. I can't believe I don't have any deer out right now, but looking at what we've got, and I would have never guessed in a million years that this place would be this in the shape it's in for what it used to be. It just isn't. It's just unrecognizable.
And you did
Um,
it.
yes, and I did it. Yes.
That's extremely satisfying.
Yep. My stepfather would probably is probably turning over in his grave right now because I built my house in the prime ag part of the farm and then turned the rest of it into a deer hunting sanctuary, considering he was the guy that would shoot him in the middle of summer, shoot them in the gut so they'd
Oh,
run.
man. Oh,
Yeah.
so gangster.
Oh, dude, he did not like deer. Let's put it that way. There was
Sure.
no big bucks. Big bucks didn't mean anything to him. It was they ate the crops. So but yeah, no, I love it. The, it used to be we didn't have any deer that would stay on our farm. You could go back in the swamp and you could see, all the way through it. Now it's so thick you can barely walk through it, and
Mm,
the deer they just pile in there now,
yeah.
and it's crazy to see the transition happen.
How did you stumble across vitalized seed?
So that's another funny story. So Kevin Vistison of the Deer Hunter podcast, moved
Hmm.
within striking distance here. I think we're like 10 minutes apart. And we had been friends, over social media, and he needed somewhere to do his plots for the content for Jared. And so that's actually how I even met Jared. So I met Jared through Kevin, and Jared and I just hit it off. And I went to his deer camp last year. He's been up here a few times. I mean, just that's where Vitalize came from.
And so did you like explain your connection with them at this point?
So my connection with them is an ambassador of the brand.
Okay.
I do some test plotting for them, things like that. Just anything we can do, as in this space, we all do. We all, we're all here to promote each other and
Yeah.
bring each other up. So uh, that's how that happened. I'm just trying to think what else on that aspect of it, but yeah, that's really
And
about it.
you're like basically a local distributor of their products, right?
Yes, yep. I'm a dealer for Vitalize Seed. I'm out for the year, but it was a good year. I was surprised.
Oh, that's
And
good.
so the funny thing is, I didn't do food plots the way that they do food plots until I started doing their food plots. And
Okay.
once I realized how much it made sense, I kept rolling with it. I mean, we are in
Explain what you mean by
we
that.
okay, so the vitalized system's a 1-2 system of what you plant in the spring feeds the fall stuff, and what you plant in the fall is going to then feed your spring. And so basically, it's a no-till system. It should be a no-till system that you're basically building your soil. And I don't have any soil. I have beach sand. I have beautiful beach sand.
Mm.
If I had water, I'd have the next resort. But yeah, so we're just it's amazing to watch how that will actually how it actually, instead of I was always taught that you go out and you till the shit out of something until you can't see nothing. Well, if you can leave it to die and decay, you're just making more and more soil, on top of what you've got there. And so eventually I'm hoping to turn this whole place into a gold mine of black dirt.
Oh, hell yeah. I knew the answer to that. I just wanted you to say it. I've listened to Al a couple times on a couple or few different podcasts, and not only is he just an insane wealth of knowledge about everything, organic matter and plants and how it all works and chemical compounds and so on and so forth. Fascinating stuff. But especially like you were just saying, the 1-2 system, what you plant in the spring feeds what you plant in the fall, which will then, it's very cyclical. But I became also more interested in the no-till aspect of everything, because similarly, we hunt a nice private piece down in farm country, and they till the living shit out of everything. And it would be really nice if some of them could use some more regenerative farming, or at least some no-till drills or something. I don't know, man, but I love it. I love it
Yeah,
so much. Those are great guys.
absolutely. I had a guy picking up some seed today, the last little bit that I had, and buddy of mine, Dan Busby, that he promotes the crap out of Vitalize as well, just because he loves it so much. No affiliation at all, just absolutely loves what they're doing. And we were talking about crop rotation, because how the soil's so bad, and he goes, "Well, if you don't rotate it enough, the next rotation will be houses." And I go, "Damn, that is a great. You are so right. It's not even funny." You are so right. Once the farmland becomes infertile, it's gonna have houses on it. Um, but yeah, having Al change the subject, having Al in my corner is the best thing in the world. That guy
Mhm.
is a wealth of knowledge. Same thing. He this spring he calls me up and he says, "Hey, I got your soil samples back. I hope you're okay, but I was just so intrigued that I went for a deeper analysis on it because I really think we got some stuff there that we can do." And he just he's like, "You've got this down there that we need to unlock, and this that we need to unlock." I'm like, "Al, you just keep talking. You tell me what to do, and I'll do it."
Yeah. Oh, I
You're
love
you're
that.
I'm a big proponent of staying in your own lane.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't used to be, but let the guys who know what they're doing do their thing. Kind of like, I have a producer for my podcast. I don't do the editing, I don't do any of it
Mm-hmm.
because mainly I don't know how. I can talk.
Yeah.
I can't edit. I have a hard enough time getting doing a Zoom meeting with my phone, let alone, editing a podcast. So it's
That's
one of those things.
understandable.
I'll do my side. I'll do what I do well, and you do what you do well, and we'll all benefit in the end.
100%. I love it, man. That's fantastic. Um, I this was the first year that I didn't really buy any vitalized seed just because the property up north of me right here where I had been doing it, I'm trying to avoid hunting it. It just discourages me so much. Not that the seed doesn't work well. It just is it's the deer hunting that doesn't satisfy me. So I'm maybe in the future I will also be doing a little bit more of a vitalized seeds. But if anybody, where can people find out more about vitalized seed, or can they just reach out to you and talk to you about it?
They can reach out to me. They can go to, I think it's vitalizeseed.com or vitalize.com. If you just Google it, vitalize seed, it'll pop up, and there's and you can always DM Al and he will get back to you. I
Yeah,
mean, he will talk to anybody about, their soil or anything. He's a great wealth of knowledge.
he really is. I encourage people to reach out. I encourage people to get a soil sample for
Yes, that
sure.
is yes, yes. And that's the number one key thing to a food plot. Get a soil sample because I don't care what you think you're going to do. Without a soil sample, you can throw as much fertilizer at it as you want. It doesn't mean it's going to get what it needs.
Yeah. Hey, let's talk a little bit about being a business owner and how that plays or does not play well with hunting season. Um, I think a lot of people have this romantic idea that if I'm starting my own business, I'm just going to be able to do whatever I want all the time. Is that really how it works?
Not at first.
Not at first.
Not at first. You got to
Okay.
build. I got to be careful what I say. I think a couple of my employees listen, but
Okay.
no, it doesn't. No, not at first. At first, I worked more than I ever worked. I mean, it was 80-hour weeks every week. It was light to dark, and then paperwork after that. But once I started growing, and I mean, I've been at this for, I think this is my 12th year. So I've been at it for a good amount of time now, and I've got it running smooth to where I can take the time to go deer hunting.
But you earned it at this point.
Oh, I did earn it. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, exactly. Yep.
Now, has being this business owner and meeting lots of new faces ever afforded you any unique hunting opportunities over the years?
It hasn't. It really, I mean,
Hmm.
I've had a couple semi opportunities, but nothing like stellar that, you do hear. I've got a couple other buddies that are in the trades like that. They're like, yeah, I just got this piece of property and this guy wants to take me here. I'm like, well, that doesn't happen to me. So, but yeah, no, no, I'm waiting for that day for one of these clients to be like, hey, why don't you come to my ranch in Nebraska or Texas or, but not yet.
I would
If
imagine they're up there. You just haven't run across them yet.
no, they're here. Absolutely. You are correct.
I was listening to Josh Profit. You know who Josh Profit is?
Don't.
So he is, I think, the BG bow hunter, I think, on
Okay.
Instagram. And he opened like a barber shop somewhere down in Kentucky or Tennessee or something. And he was talking about how he gets all the old farmers that come in there in this little old town. And he's playing the long game. He's cutting hair respectfully, asking the right questions, but playing that long game, hoping that one of them talks about how there's opportunities maybe at some of their farms one of these days. But not that you should be out to get something out of everything that you do, but if you're a good person and you're doing a good deed or a good job and you work hard, I think that it's the universe's way of complimenting you when things come around and work out for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Now don't get me wrong, I've had opportunities for just not hunting related opportunities.
Okay.
I've had some very good business things been brought to my attention on that aspect. So
That's
yeah, no,
nice.
I've definitely been rewarded. So absolutely. But I'm still waiting on that. If anybody's listening, I'm waiting on that, either sweet piece of property or that, trip that you just gotta take me on. I'm available.
Good. And make sure that you reach out to him expeditiously so he can get into his calendar.
That's
Um,
right.
I have heard you mention hunting in Texas, and it has a special place in your heart. Can you tell me
Yes.
why? I spent a lot of time in Texas working in the early teens, the 10, 11, 2012 in that area. Tell me about hunting in Texas.
So I'm gonna be perfectly honest right here. What I know about hunting in Texas is hunting um a ginormous ranch.
I
A
think that's what it
ginormous,
mostly is, isn't it?
it's all, yeah, so I'm a ginormous, but I've the Sombrerito Ranch down in, I mean, we're talking like I shot my first buck down there, or I'm sorry, second buck down there 2 years ago, 2 miles from the border.
Of
I
Mexico?
mean, yeah, yeah, Mexico. So we're talking like
Ooh-wee.
way down by Laredo,
Way down there.
way down there. So it's a high fence operation. It's 11,000 acres.
Damn.
So if anybody knows about what 11,000 acres is, it's a 45-minute Jeep ride from where I shot my deer back to the camp. So it's
Yeah.
not like
Dang.
it's not like some pen deer
Yeah.
coming out. But when Mr. Carter he fenced it in the early 70s, I think. And what was in there is what genetics are in there today. There's no growth
Hmm.
hormones, there's no nothing. They're giving them the right environment, they're giving them the right protein, they're giving them the right, the right feed, and they don't shoot anything unless it's 7.5 years old.
Are you shitting me?
I swear to God, nothing unless it's
Oh,
7.5 years old. So it's just the whole I look at it. I don't look at it like it's this, for the deer. I look at the program itself and just to see what, and then some deer they won't shoot. Well, even if it's 7.5, well, we're not sure. We really want to see what he'll do next year.
wow.
And so the one I shot this year was 10.5. They figured,
What?
yeah, it tasted like shit.
Two
Not gonna
two
lie.
questions.
Yeah.
What is the native browse in Laredo, Texas? And how did you find yourself there the first time?
So my father-in-law is taking me on this trip for this, well, 3 years in a row. I'm not sure where he found it. He's retired, so he gets to sit there and research and research and research. And he came to me with this idea. We went to an outfitter, and I'm not going to name their name because it was absolutely horrible. But the first year we went down, and I literally shot 100-inch buck that the thing weighed like 70 pounds and it looked giant when I shot it. And so he's like, I want to take you down to it. Are you opposed to a high fence? And I said, no, I'm not opposed to it. I don't want to misrepresent that it's not, it is what it
Right.
is. I'm okay with that. It's more of the experience. So he took me down there for that. And I mean, I just got hooked on the whole process. I became good friends with the owner of the ranch, and just really the whole aspect of how they do everything. They sit there. So you're sitting with I have a guide sitting next to me, and he's in his binos the entire time watching these deer that are out there, and he's logging into his phone. And they have this whole spreadsheet set up of what deer's what, sending pictures to it, sending pictures between each of the guides, seeing which deer it is, seeing what
Wow.
age it is, what it's doing. And that aspect is what pulls the special part. The fact that they are so passionate about these deer
Yeah.
that it's something I've never experienced before.
Wow. That's incredible, man. I've never done anything like that in my life either. Um, what is the native browse down in Laredo, Texas? Like, what are they
Uh,
eating?
Cactus.
That's it?
They're in cactus. Well, where we're, obviously in the thing they're eating cottonseed and then, protein pellets and
Okay.
some corn. But yeah, it's
The
no,
supplemental thing. Okay.
if they're eating what is out there, they're eating cactus, they're eating, I mean, there's not a ton of there's some, the mesquite, I think they eat that. But
Okay.
yeah, it's not good. That's for sure. It's not like a corn-fed Midwest deer, that's for dang sure.
What is the body size like on a deer like that?
Oh, the one I shot 2 years ago was like almost 200, or was it 200 and some pounds?
So it was a big ass deer.
Oh, it's ginormous. But
Okay.
that's on their
Hmm.
program.
Got
The
it.
one I shot, like I said, the one I shot the first year at just a podunk place that we went to,
Hmm.
that was 70 pounds, 70, 80 pounds. It was nothing. It was like shooting a fawn with horns.
Wow. That's amazing what a little bit of management with supplemental feeding will do.
Exactly. That's what
Maybe
blew
it's not
my
a little
mind
bit.
was
Maybe a little bit
no,
is
it's not a little bit. A little bit, no, it's a lot of bit. I couldn't
yeah.
even imagine what their feed bill is. I
Yeah.
mean, they have two full-time guys that are mowing all the time. That's all they do is they mow. I mean, I took on Onyx when I got home just because I wanted to compare people. Um, I took and made what the size of the ranch was. I think it was like 2 miles by however, like 10 or 11 or something like that to get 11,000. And I overlaid it on in the county I live in. And it went from one town to another. And that town is 20 miles away, you
Jeez.
know, or 15 miles away. I'm sorry. And then it was just a little bit shy of that. But yeah, it was absolutely like I just was blown away when I saw that. I'm like, well, the deer that I see here definitely don't make it a third of the way up to where,
Yeah.
so it was like I said, I'm not trying to sugarcoat it. It was what it was, but what it
Okay.
was something special to me.
Sure, of course. I mean, I mean, it's really, in my opinion, an 11,000 acre ranch is a free range deer. Like, I know it's not really, but it might as fucking well be.
One of the guides said, and it made a lot of sense. He said, I don't, here he goes, this isn't to keep the deer in. This is to keep the other people out and to keep the deer that you have taken care of for so long to not jump the
Right.
fence and get shot by the neighbor. And I'm like, that makes sense. You're investing, they're investing in these deer.
Right.
I mean,
And do you, and maybe you don't know the answer to this, and it's something that I would have to look up, but the deer probably are not native to down there. Like they were probably brought in at some point, right?
would assume so. That I don't know either, but I do know like it's not. I have to buy a Texas hunting license to hunt them. They're not. They are owned by the state of Texas. They're
Yeah.
not. It's not like a private ranch where it's breeder deer. And
Right.
these are deer that are owned. I mean, they're descendants of the ones that were originally stuck in the fence back in what 50 years ago.
Crazy. Because I was listening to a guy talk about hunting in Alabama and how the deer in Alabama are from like four different subspecies of whitetail that were brought to Alabama back in like the 50s and 60s and 70s or something like that, back a long time ago, and how there are different genetic species of these whitetail down in Alabama, and they all rut at different times based on their ancestral breeding cycle. So I
Okay.
was just curious what if you happen to know what it was like in Texas.
I don't, but now I want to know, so I'm going to be finding out into that.
What time of year did you go down there?
We went right after Thanksgiving.
Is that pretty normal? Like the
Yeah,
people go down back then?
that's like the beginning of the rut down there.
Okay,
They're just starting to kind of get going. I want to say ruts down there, at least where they are, is like mid-December, mid to late December.
interesting. Because I'm pretty sure I
So
just
we
saw places like Florida have a rut right now.
really,
Yeah, how bizarre is that?
that's yeah, that's crazy.
So I would not want to. Like I lived in Florida for 13 years, and it never crossed my mind one single time to do any deer hunting in those woods, man. Not one time with snakes and alligators and wild
No,
pigs.
no,
Nah, I'm good,
yeah,
man. Cougars, pumas, fuck that. Black
yeah.
bear.
The only nope, no, thank you. You lose me when you say snakes, so I'm
Yeah,
out.
same, same. Well, what is
When
your?
that's
Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say when that snake can eat the deer, I'm out. That's for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, take your ass out too.
Yep, yep.
So what are your plans for hunting this year? Like, are you going back to Texas? Are you going to do anything out of Michigan, or what do you got
I
planned?
have I have a pretty full schedule, and
Okay.
you're not gonna believe it, but I am not going out of state this year.
Okay.
I am so I just finished up the cargo camper mobile studio deer camp podcast, and I am going to travel around the state, going to different deer camps. I'm gonna come to a couple. I think I got 5 or 6 scheduled for sure right now, and I could fill a couple more in. So if anybody wants me to come to their deer camp, I am going to show up. I have my own place to stay. I want to come there. I want to do a podcast, and I want to go hunting with one of the guys from camp and film them, or just hang out. Or if they want me to hunt, I will. But no pressure. I want to just experience people's deer camps and do a podcast about it.
We are going to need to talk some more about that because that is
Uh,
fucking awesome.
it's funny. I was just talking to Aaron Blasey the other day, and he's
Say he
like,
just said that.
"Yeah, he did." I called him right afterwards. I was like, "Dude, so I'm like just finishing that up." He's like, "Seriously?" I'm like, "Dude, like swear to God." And I've got like a couple of. He's like, "That is awesome." And so yeah, same thing. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I I don't even care if I kill anything this year. I am more excited to go out and do this than, which I think I think I'm trying to get myself prepped for my kids, because I think hunting days are, at least here at the farm for sure are over. I might get to get out a couple times, but I want to see my kids shoot them. I want to see these guys, I'm excited for that. But yeah, so I'm excited for this. I think it's going to be cool. It's going to be something that I haven't seen done yet, but I mean, we'll see.
And you said you got a couple lined up already. Can you give me some teasers on like what parts of the state this is going to be you've got lined up already?
Right now, I've got one down by Grand Rapids. I've got one up northern lower Michigan, like farther up even than where I'm at. A local one. Yeah, one or two local ones, and I'd have to look at the calendar. But and then one hopefully in the UP. I'm still trying to nail down the details on.
The UP one sounds interesting. I've not spent a lot of time in the UP. My wife's has half sister lives up there, and we were just up there, and most guys that we know, we're constantly at least looking at the woods or thinking about deer in some form or fashion. And so I found myself really staring at all of the fucking wilderness up there, and I'm very intrigued by hunting up north.
I shot my first bow deer up there. I
In the
shot a
UP?
doe in the UP. We used to go way over Dickinson County,
Okay.
north of Iron Mountain. We would go. So one of my good buddies I grew up with, his ex-father-in-law, they were cherry farmers, and they would go up there every fall for a week. Well, they'd get the cabin for 2 weeks, and they'd let us come up after they were done. So we'd go to spots that had been baited. This was back, baiting days. We'd go to spots that had been baited for a week. Go in there, and it was, you had your spot, you went in, and it was so much fun. It was deer camp. It was our deer camp back then, and it was crazy though. I mean, you'd see wolves. You'd hear wolves. It's an eerie place, that's for sure.
Have you ever done any bear hunting up there?
I have not bear hunted ever.
Is it on your
I'm,
list or no?
yes and no. I mean, I've been putting in for points here. I want to shoot a black bear in the Baldwin unit that I live in. I'd love to shoot one in our county. I don't know if that'll actually can happen, but it's not huge on my list. It's not something that I'm like seeking out. I'm pretty much 100% whitetail.
Yeah. Any elk? Like, do you put in for the elk in Michigan or no?
Yeah, I do. I do in Michigan. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. But it's one of those things. I never really had got the elk bug. I want to go, but it's like I'm in my mid 40s. I've I have never put in points anywhere, so it's kind of like I don't know if it's ever going to happen for me.
Yeah.
Going out of state. So and I'm okay with that. I love deer hunting. I love everything that has to do with deer hunting. So I'm good with it. How
I
about
kind
you?
of
Are you?
I feel the same way, man. Like I'm so in love with whitetail hunting that this was my first year buying an elk point in Michigan. I did not buy a bear point. Bear hunting is interesting to me, but I don't have the desire to do it. I would like to go elk hunting. I don't know that I have it in me right now to go out west and do it, but that's not to say that at some point I wouldn't. But I would like to be up close and personal with some elk at some point with my bow for sure.
Yes, same here. I would love to do that. If it's kind of one of those things, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm not gonna lose sleep over it.
Yeah. So it sounds to me like you've got some pretty incredible plans for the podcast coming up here relatively quickly. Um, it sounds like maybe the hunting season itself for you may be a take it or leave it. But if you could maybe just have one wish for the year for your hunting season, what would it be?
Put something down fast
Put it
so that
down
I can focus,
fast.
get something, shoot something early, and then then I'm not going to have that back. You know how it's, what I'm
I
going to
do.
do, what I've got going this fall. I'm going to have in the back of my head, should I be? And I've gotten better at this. It used to be, I have a hard time even leaving the farm because I was like, man, if I'm not out there, what if that's the day it happens?
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'll have a little of that in the background, but I don't think as much as I'm just enjoying the heck out of this. I'm enjoying meeting these people, like, meeting you face to face at the expo a couple of weeks ago. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I am enjoying this community more than I ever thought I would have.
Yeah, I didn't know how fast I would enjoy the community as well, but I certainly have, and it's happened, over the course of a couple of years. It's grown, and there's a lot of opportunity to meet people. You just got to be willing to travel a little bit, and like you're right, it's been awesome meeting everybody. So, I think the fact that you have sort of made friends with maybe giving yourself this year during hunting season for other people, I think is so admirable, and I look forward to following along with the mobile podcast studio. Dude, that's so awesome.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's been it's been a fun little project. I didn't go. I mean, it's no Josh. It's no non-typical camper, I can tell you that. It's more of like, there's some wiring run on the inside and there's a
Yeah.
bed built in it and it's, insulated and I got heat in it, but it's not the Taj Mahal. Let's put it
No,
that way.
but
But
it is
it's
something I've never
comfortable.
heard anybody else doing before, and that's really cool.
Yep. Well,
That should be
thanks.
really fun to follow along. Well, I really enjoyed spending some time with you tonight, and I appreciate your short notice accommodations. And again, I look forward to following along with you and our continued friendship. Do you have anything else you'd like to add before we cut her loose for the evening?
Uh, just I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, Deer Camp Podcast. Um, Facebook is Andy Hutchens or Andrew Hutchens, I don't know, something like that. And no, I just like I said, if anybody, I've got a few spots left, a couple weekends open. If anybody would want to have me come to their deer camp, reach out.
You heard it here first, folks. Or maybe not first. I don't know, but you heard it here. If you want Hutchie to come to your deer camp and record a podcast with you and hang out, I think you'll A, enjoy his company, and B, be a part of something really cool. I think you'll enjoy it. Um, and thanks again, Hutchie, man. I appreciate you coming on tonight. Um, we'll look forward to talking to you soon. And for everybody else, thanks for sticking around. Make sure you go leave us a rating and review over at iTunes or Spotify, and we will catch up with y'all next week.